Welcome to the Last Chronicles. This is Frank DeMore, and this is part 4 for the connecting the dots between Bible prophecy and current events for July 13th. And I'm going to continue on with the prophecy by Ezekiel in chapter 38, which talks about the Russian-led invasion against Israel during the last days. We see the evidence of that taking place right now, some of the footsteps that are going to get us to the fulfillment of that prophecy made by God that gave to Ezekiel. It says, Iran nearing nuclear bombs, Russia warns. Dmitry Medvedev has adopted a tougher line on Iran in recent months. Russian President Dmitry Medvedev says that Iran is moving closer to having the potential to create nuclear weapons. It is one of the first times Moscow has publicly resigned that Iran might be moving towards a nuclear weapon. Russia, which has strong economic and military ties with Iran, has traditionally been an ally of Tehran. And Tehran is the capital of Iran, if you don't know. But it has recently adopted a tougher stance towards Iran's nuclear drive and backed the fourth round of UN sanctions that was imposed last month. Iran is moving closer to imposing a potential or poison for a potential which is principle could be used for the creation of nuclear weapons. Now, I told you that Russia, I don't care what you read in the news, Russia is always going to be aligned with Iran. God said that Russia was going to lead the attack and Iran was going to be their major ally, along with Turkey, Libya, and many other nations. So whatever you're reading, please put it on the back burner, because the end result will be Russia is never going to turn against Iran. They just simply, I believe, it will not happen. Now, I've been warning about this to you before. Now, in my post of February 16th of 2010, this is what I wrote. Let's see. Following concerns, it says, I wrote to you, the following concerns sanctions against Iran for attempting to get their hands on a weapon of mass destruction via the nuclear program. I quote myself, and this is from the February 16, 2010 post. I, for one, am surprised Israel has waited this long in attacking Iran. In the past years, there have already been 3 rounds of sanctions against Iran over the nuclear weapons program. Now they plan a 4th round, but this one won't work either. That's what I said back in the beginning of the year, in February 16th. I may be wrong, but this is what I think may happen in the future. More time will be given to Iran to respond to these sanctions while the world waits to see what happens between Israel and Iran. Israel will be forced into another war with the neighbors, of which Syria will be included. Keep in mind, Mohammed Ahmadinejad told Syria counterpart Bashar al-Assad that if Israel goes to war, we need to put an end to the Zionist regime once and for all. This is exactly what we read about in Psalm 83. So, what did they do? What is the America and the rest of the world doing? They're postponing doing anything against Iran. Let me quote this. Only hours before the Security Council approved the latest measures, Western diplomats were saying that this sanctions resolution would not be the last. Exactly what I said. They had the 4th round. I said it's not going to happen. They're going to keep going until Israel has to make a move to stop Iran's nuclear weapons. This suggests many more months of waiting to see what Iran does, and that's exactly what I said to look for in the near future. More monitoring of reports of the International Atomic Energy and more negotiations over yet more sanctions. It also implies that the option of an attack on an Iranian nuclear plant is not an active one, though diplomats do accept that at some stage it will not be realistic to hope for any diplomatic solution. So what they're saying is the end result will be not diplomatic solution or a 4th, 5th, or 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th round of sanctions that don't work, but it'll end up being some kind of conflict. That's what they're saying. And this goes in a line where Jesus said in Matthew 24:7, there will be wars and rumors of wars. We see that here, as well as the signs of the Ezekiel chapter 38 war, because when Israel hits Iran, there's going to be a backlash, retaliation. It could set off the Psalm 83 war, and then fulfill the Ezekiel chapter 38 war. Now also, what I'd like to show you is when you go down into another prophecy here, I want to show you that Jesus told us in the last days to watch out for signs in the sky. Look at Luke 21:25. He said there's signs in the sun, the moon, and the stars. And when you scroll down, you're going to see some of the newest weird signs. They don't know what it is, but it went across Vietnam. It is also what they call these UFOs sighting in China. And when you scroll down and you'll see a video, a couple videos and 3 or 4 news links that I put there, they actually captured this on film. And you'll see this shooting across the sky. They closed down the airport in China. They didn't know what it was, but these are signs that are coming. Now when you look at all the signs and you put them together, we know that these are the last days. Now also at the end of this post, you're going to see a list of earthquakes that have happened in the last 7 days. All these earthquakes are earthquakes that are at least a 5.0 and higher. I mean, these are pretty significant earthquakes, but as you go up higher, all the way to 10, that's the most. But the Lord told us that when you see all these things, you would also see the sign of earthquakes. And we're seeing many earthquakes happen with the signs in the sky. We're seeing signs of the coming war with Iran. The war against Israel, Ezekiel 38, Psalms 83. We see the signs of the Antichrist. We see the workings of this identity or ID that they're going to be forcing everybody in the near future. We see the signs of the breakdown of the world economy. All these things are incorporated in all the prophecies. Now, take the challenge and go to my book and read the book, because I outline all of those prophecies in my book, The Last Chronicles of Planet Earth, which you can download at my site for free. Just go to the top of my site, click the link where it says the July, I believe it's the 2011 book, or 2010 book on July 11th. Hit that, give it about 30 seconds to download, and then read it for nothing. Never charge anybody, but it's a challenge to you so that you'll understand we have reached the last days and Christ is coming back and He wants you to go home with Him. You don't want to find yourself on the opposite side of Jesus, because everything that He said was coming to pass in our generation. Everything. That's exactly what He said was going to happen. We're excited because we know that Jesus is coming back shortly, but our heart is grieved because there are so many other people who think that this is ridiculous, it's not true, and they're going to be caught just the way that the people in Noah's generation were caught unguarded and left behind. Don't let this happen. Don't let the Satan rob you of your eternal life or cast you into the 7-year tribulation because you refuse to listen, just the way they refused to listen to Noah's warning. Please listen. Take the challenge and read the documentations in my book. It has more information in that book, and it's free than you're ever going to want. Believe me. Just check the record for yourself. God bless, and hope to see you in the sky soon.